Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing a full face of clean beauty at Target using a ton of products. I did do a video similar to this, but I wanted to make an updated version that I'm sure you guys are going to love. Before we start, if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy at any point. But let's get into the makeup. But before we do makeup, I do want to chat about a new skincare release. This video is in partnership with Hero Cosmetics. So I'm going to talk about their new launches and how I use them before I do my makeup. So if you guys have never heard or previously used Hero Cosmetics, they are known for their pimple patch. If you guys have never used a pimple patch, there will be a clip of me applying it. So they have 4 products here that are newly launching at Target, which is awesome. So you'll be able to buy those there. So the first product that I used last night in preparation for this makeup was just the original Mighty Patch. So essentially the point of these is to help protect your skin, heal the skin, and it really helps to flatten out your pimple. You guys will be able to see in the clip that I'll be previewing either now or in a little bit, but they're really easy to apply. They come in this little packet and you just peel them off and push them onto your skin. These are awesome for wearing under mask during the day, but you want to leave them on for at least 6 hours so they help to accelerate the healing. And once it turns white is when you know you're able to peel it off. So I used that on this little pimple I had right below my nose, and when I took it off, it had completely like drained it out, which is awesome. These are also really nice if you have a tendency to pick at your skin because it really prevents that. So that's the original that I was using. They do also have the Invisible Plus ones, which are similar to the original. They're just ultra thin, so you can wear them in the daytime. You could also wear these under makeup. So if you're using this like under a mask, or you want to do your makeup or just go out with one of these on, they're totally normal. They really do blend into the skin nicely. And the next product you'll see me applying here is the Micro Point for dark spots. My concern now is dark spots because I was able to heal the majority of my acne, thankfully. So these have like these little tiny just micro points on them that you want to put on your skin and push and hold for around 30 seconds. And then again, I just like to leave these on probably overnight. And with these, you want to continually to use them every 2 to 3 days to see good results. Since they are a fading treatment, it's going to take a little bit longer than the patch itself to see results, but with the patches, you will see a difference overnight. The original patches and the invisible are best used on like a fresh pimple, one that's kind of just ready to go and already has a head on it. You want it to have that like head on it so it gets absorbed into the patch. And then the last one I want to mention here is the Micro Point for blemishes. So these are also best used on a very new pimple. So if you can feel one or see one coming up, put one of these on. Again, you want to press and hold it and then leave it on for at least 6 hours, and it'll really help to stop that pimple from coming up. So far, my favorite out of the bunch, I would definitely say are the invisible thin ones because they're just so undetectable and you could wear them throughout the day and it doesn't look like you have really anything on your face. So as I mentioned earlier, you will be able to purchase all 4 of these at Target, and the Mighty Patches, you do get 24 in each box, and then with the Micro Point ones, there are 6 in each box. I personally really enjoy them because they help to prep the skin for makeup, flatten out that blemish, so when you do put concealer or foundation, it just looks so much better. It really helps to accelerate the healing process of any blemishes that may pop up along with the dark spots. So thank you again to Hero Cosmetics. I will have them linked below, but let's get into this makeup. All right guys, let's get into it. I did just take off the patches. Got hard to tell on camera, but it completely drained out this one right below my nose. And the Micro Point ones, you're supposed to use them consecutively. So it's hard to see like results overnight, but if you continue to use them, I have used them before and noticed a difference in my dark spots, which is kind of like my concern right here at the moment. But anyway, now that the skin is nice and prepped for makeup, let's get started on this clean beauty at Target. So I'm going to start with the Honest Beauty Everything Primer. I'm going in with the matte prep and prime version because I have a more dewy foundation today, so I want to make sure that that's balanced out, and I do have more combo to oily skin. So this is like a lotiony texture. The Honest Beauty primers I think are really nice. It is a bit thicker like most mattifying primers are, but I don't find that it's really like gluey or anything. And I really like to focus this just right in the T-zone or wherever you produce the most oils. For foundation, I'm using the Pacifica Light Clean Foundation. This was my favorite for a while. It is a bit on the heavier side, so you have to be very careful with the amount that you use. Also has more of a natural to dewy finish that you can set down or leave it really dewy if you prefer. There are some other brands at Target that carry foundations, but majority of their shade ranges are just terrible. So this foundation does have more shades than most clean beauty that they carry at Target. Still not the best. I would love to see more shades, especially in the deep range of this, expanded just with more undertones. But the shades I'm going to be using today are 34NL. I'm going to mix a little bit of 27 Warm Medium. This is like my really self-tan shade, and this is more of like my in between or natural skin shade. I would say I'm doing about half a pump of each. And my favorite way to apply this is with a sponge, just since it is really full coverage. It just takes away some of that heaviness. And a little bit of this literally goes so far, like it's crazy. You guys need like a really good high coverage foundation. You haven't tried this one, I would recommend. So there's just like a half face difference right there. It's really good. I haven't used this in a while. I used to use this like all the time. I think last summer I was just like always using this every day, probably. With most foundations, I usually need like a couple pumps to get really full coverage out of it. But with this one, that was just probably one total pump on my hand. There we have the foundation. Don't know what that was. Next, I have another Pacifica product. This is their Liquid Cover Full Coverage Lasting Concealer, which I don't love under the eyes. But as a spot concealer, I don't mind, and I use the shade 20NF. So I'm just using this to add a little bit more coverage. I could also do another layer of the foundation. So since I don't really prefer the Pacifica concealer under my eyes, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I know this isn't clean. I'm just gonna sub this in for today. And I'm using the normal one today, not the hydrating one, because this foundation is on the dewier side. I like to balance it out with this. Before we set, I do have some cream products I wanted to use today. These are the Cocoa Kind, the highlighting sticks. I'm gonna use one as bronzer and one sort of like a blush. These are like newer to Target, at least in my Target, but I have seen these recently, which is really cool. I love Cocoa Kind. Really recommend their skincare as well. So I'm gonna first take Chaga Glow, which is the bronze highlight, which would be a good highlight for deeper skin, or if you have fair skin, you could use this as a bronzer. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, and this goes so nicely over the foundation since it doesn't really set itself, it's more of that dewy finish. Just popping this where I typically put my bronzer, and this does have a shimmer to it. It is on the warmer side, has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's definitely not very obvious, especially once it's blended in. I do find that a brush works a lot better with these, since they're more on the thicker side as opposed to a sponge. This is a Luxie Small Contouring, which is like my go-to for most cream products. So as you can tell, it looks really natural. You can build this up if you like, but we're gonna layer some more bronzer on top. So next I'm taking the My Light shade, which is the My Type Rose Highlight. Here's the shade on my hand. If you have a medium skin tone, this would probably work as a highlight. For me, it's more of like a blush. So I'm gonna put this right above where I put the bronzer. And again, these aren't so shimmery that you like can't use them as blush or bronzer. They're really subtle. And they give you more of a dew, I would say, than a ton of shimmer. Now just to set, I'm using the Well People Bio Brightener Loose Powder. And I'm lightly setting my under eyes. I'm going to set the rest of my face as well because I really prefer this foundation when it's set down, at least for my skin type. So even with that set, you can still see the glow from the Cocoa Kind sticks coming through, which I think is so pretty. Like, I need to continue to use those more because I'm always so impressed when I use them. They do have one more shade, by the way, which is a gold shade. I forgot the exact name of it. But if you like gold highlights, that one's beautiful too. I think I gave that one away because I already had one or something. But just to bronze up a little more, I'm using the Honest Beauty. This is their Dusk Reflection Luminizing Powder. They have this shade and one lighter shade, which I use as a highlight and use this one as a bronzer. This also works as a highlight for a deeper skin tone. I'd love to see them create more shades of this, like even more depth and even more lighter shades, because I think they work great both as a bronzer and a highlight. It's very subtle as a highlight, which is one of the reasons I actually really like the formula of it. Same with the bronzer, it gives you a glow, but it's not too shiny, not too chunky, you know what I'm saying? For blush, I really wanted to take out the Honest Beauty Lip Powder Blush in Frisky because I used this a couple times before, but haven't used it in a while. It's their new blush formula, which has a glow to it. The shade's really pretty. I'm taking a little bit on this fluffier brush, just building up a little flush. It's rosy, it almost has like a reddish tone to it as well. It looks really like natural on my skin. I do have other shades, I forget what they look like though. If you guys have tried this, if you have like a favorite shade, I'd love to hear it. I'm going to layer a little bit more highlight using the same Honest Beauty product. This is their old packaging. Is this expired? It says 2 years. This is their very old packaging, but this is the lighter shade. I'm popping that on with a fan brush. All right, brows. I do not have any clean brow products personally that I like. I know Honest Beauty has a brow pencil. I have yet to try that because it doesn't seem very precise. I like precise brow pencils. But if you have tried that and you like it, let me know below. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows off camera using the NYX Micro Brow. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Wow Brow to set it. All right, brows are done, so let's hop onto the eyes. Let's get started on the eyes. I'm gonna start with the Pacifica Hemp Infused, what is this called? Cosmic Reflex palette. This palette really is not my favorite. There is 3 matte shades in this whole palette, and I feel like it's just so hard to make a look with these shades. Like, I just look at it and I get confused looking at it. And some of the shimmers are not as good as others. They're just not like a super, I don't know. I just really never reach for that palette. And I was gonna use the Honest Beauty one as well, which I feel like are a better formula than the Pacifica ones. But again, I'm kind of bored of that. It's very neutral and there's like 1 purple shade in there. So I'm gonna pull in a couple extra eye products, not from Target, just because I really need some supplementation here. So I'm gonna go in with the Oma Beauty. This is called their Black Magic Carnival palette. And I'm gonna start with this shade up here, which is this really pretty like red brown. Actually, I'm gonna start with this one here and then move on to that one. Actually, screw that again. I'm gonna start with the Pacifica Lift Off, which is like a more of a pale cream orange, creamsicle, cream soda color. I'm using this shade as my transition. Shadows aren't bad by any means, it's just the colorway in this specific palette I find pretty hard to work with. I don't know what other palettes Pacifica has. I think they have like more neutrals, which I'm sure would be a lot easier to create a look with. Now I'm going into the Oma Beauty palette with this shade, which is very pigmented. And I'm focusing this right in that outer corner. I'm gonna make this very smoky since it's kind of the vibe we're going for today. So I am going for a more blown out look. So I did take it all the way in and really feathered it out. Next, I'm taking the deep red brown here, and I'm using this to deepen the outer V, but I'm not gonna bring this shade as far in as I did the previous one. Now that we have that laid down, I'm gonna use the Danessa Myricks Color Fix in the shade Journey, which looks so pretty. I really wanted to use this today, so as I was bored with the Target eyeshadow selections, I said, why not bring this bad boy out? I'm gonna take a tiny little flat shader brush for this, and what I'm gonna do is just start building the color on my lid here. It's my first time trying one of the matte color fixes. It's not completely matte, it has a sheen to it, but not the glitter one that I tried in my original Danessa Myricks video. Next, I'm gonna take a little fluffier pencil brush. I'm gonna start to diffuse this into our crease. So these are really cool because you could build the intensity that you want. So when I blended it out, it did diffuse the purple on the lid. So I'm gonna go back in with the tiny little shader brush, pick up more product and really intensify that. These feel really lightweight on the lids too. I'm just in love with these. I definitely wanna get some more shades. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that same process over here. Now that we have most of the color set down, I'm gonna go back into the Oma Beauty palette, taking this lighter purple that I think is gonna be really pretty as a topper for this. This one's called Mardi Gras, and I'm gonna layer this over the color fix. You can layer with the color fixes because they dry down really nicely. This is really pretty, so I'm actually gonna put it all over my lid. You could also use this shade in the Pacifica palette called Cosmic, which is very similar to that shade I just used. It just has a little bit more of a matte finish. I know it doesn't look matte, but like the shimmer doesn't come off too well. For the lower lash line, I have some more of the color fix right here in my hand. I'm just taking a little bit and then blending it on the outer half. I'm not gonna go all the way in with this. Now that that is all laid down, you could stop here and just do some mascara, but I'm feeling it, so I'm going full force. I'm gonna use the Danessa Myricks Beauty. This is one of the waterproof cushion colors in Electric Sun, which is super vibrant, and I think I'm gonna try to use this as a liner, see what happens. I know most of these are not at Target, but as I mentioned, I just wasn't too impressed with the Target palette, so need something else. All right, so I went ahead and did that eyeliner and put on some mascara using the Honest Beauty mascara. And next, let's move on to lips here. I'm gonna use another Honest Beauty product, the Off Duty liquid lipsticks. I love these, and I think this is gonna be a, is this a shade I want? It is not. I'm gonna use BFF because this one's more purpley compared to Off Duty there. All right guys, here is our finished full face of Target Beauty. A bit more editorial, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know in the comments below what your favorite clean product from Target is. I would love to hear it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.